Of the Morning Edge. It is Friday, super fired up to get you guys started for this weekend. DeadPresPicks, joined as always by Geoff Fienberg. Jeff, we can hear you. How you doing? Happy Friday.
Oh, I'm frazzled on a Friday with some technical issues, but I hope everything is going okay for me now.
Yeah, I think we're figuring it out slowly. So if Jeff has any tech issues, not his fault, just internet. What else can you do? It is Friday, though, Jeff. A ton to get into. I'm going to start with some NBA. Let's talk a little bit about last night. The last time we were on was Wednesday. So, obviously, a lot of stuff has happened in between. First, your Leafs. Giving me some life here, Jeff. I was thinking of you. Tweeted at you right away. What's your thoughts? They play again tonight.
I think they're going to win. I think they're going to put the pressure on Florida. But in the end, in typical Leafs fashion, they'll probably win tonight to give a lot of people hope again and then crush it.
Yeah.
But I'm weird. I find myself in a place where, I want them to win a lot more than I thought I did, and then I want them to go on to win the series a lot more than I thought I did or would. And
of course.
Here we are.
Well, I mean, look, they have a shot now, right? That game 4, they could have laid over and died. They showed us that they're not quitters, Jeff. That's one thing we know about them. I still have faith. I still have faith in them, and they win this game tonight. It's a series, right?
Yeah, they win the game tonight. I think the pressure then goes on to onto Florida. So that's all you could do is try to make Florida feel as much pressure as possible. Speaking of pressure, your 76ers let an opportunity get away last night. Now they'll be feeling it.
Big opportunity, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, look, they had the lead under 5 minutes. You got the crowd behind you, and they forgot how to score. So that's problematic, right? Jason Tatum, give him credit. He was brutal all game. But when they needed him, he stepped up. He made big plays. You can't say the same about Joel Embiid and James Harden. So definitely disappointed from that game. Embiid did not shoot the ball, Jeff, for the final 4 minutes. That's unacceptable, both on him, the coaching staff, the players around him, not getting him an opportunity. But he also has to, take over the game a little bit, right, and kind of demand that basketball at the end of the game. So, yeah, I was extremely disappointed with that game last night. Boston, I think now they win the series, right? They go back to Boston, 7-point favorite. I would be shocked if the Sixers somehow stole 3 games in Boston. I just don't see it happening. So, I didn't think they were going to win the game last night, to be honest. After that game 5, I felt good as a fan. But, as a fan, Jeff, you always overthink it. It's always in the back of your head. There's just no way it's going to be this easy. So now we get game 7 on Sunday. Let's see who wins it. We shall find out. All right, NBA time. Tonight we have 2 big-time games, the Heat and the Knicks. Let's start there. Heat, Knicks, 6-point favorites are Miami. Jeff, do you have any thoughts on this game?
I do not see the Knicks winning. I don't think that's much of a statement. I don't have any bets in this game. I've already been asked today if I wanted to go back to Jalen Brunson like we did so successfully the other day. Yes. Cleared that thing in the third quarter, even cleared it up to 30 pretty early in that game. I don't know. The road's a bit of a different animal, despite it'll be a very similar situation. They're up against it, and Randall and Brunson, they're going to play 44 minutes of this basketball game. So that's where I'm tempted to go, but I haven't pulled the trigger there. Right now, this is a no play for me in this game.
Yeah, I think we're going to be on opposite sides here if you are leaning Miami. I actually like New York to cover the spread here. We'll get to that parlay where I think they could actually win the game outright, but I'm going to take them with the 6. Something about an elimination game, Jeff, even though they're on the road, maybe it's kind of me thinking like the Leafs. I'm getting sucked back in by the Knicks. But I thought their effort in Game 5 was pretty inspiring. They could have also kind of laid over, and just let it go. Shout out to Julius Randle, by the way. That steal at the end, I don't know if you caught the end of the game. That's how we cashed that over on his prop. Just stole the ball at the end. It was a total they didn't need the bucket. They could have run the clock out, whatever. He comes in, he steals the ball. He lays it up. He lays it in. Shout out to you, Randall, for cashing the prop. You had a great call on Brunson. Jeff, Brunson didn't sit all game. Him and Quentin Grimes played legitimately every minute of the game. That's just kind of unheard of in today's NBA. So shout out to Brunson. He really led that team in Game 5. But, yeah, I think in Game 6, obviously you're going back to South Beach. It's going to be a tough spot. but the Knicks were actually better on the road than they were at home this year. So this is a team that actually played better away from New York this season. I don't know. I think that there's 6 points in a winner go home. Just feels like a lot here. So I like the Knicks to get it done tonight.
Does this feel like a game 7 to you for the Heat? Like we'll probably say in a moment it is for the Lakers in some respects, or maybe
so.
Like you alluded to, it probably was for the Sixers last night. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're saying that. No, maybe there's some Miami player props to look at. But I don't know. With them having like another out, I don't see anyone playing the sort of minutes that Brunson's going to play tonight.
You think he runs it back again, full game? You think he could do it twice?
I don't know if I mentioned this when we spoke the other day, but I swear in a previous life, the NBA used to take so much heat for how spaced out its playoff games were.
Yeah.
And now they're just relentlessly running these guys out there every other day, no 2-day layoff. I mean, I don't know, that would be dangerous, but when you got no lives left to live, the Knicks might feel like they don't have another choice.
It is pretty wild. It is the way that they've kind of flipped, these games. Now, there is the layoff with like my Sixers, for example. That game's Sunday. I believe all game 7s would be Sunday. So we saw the Suns last night. We didn't even talk about that, Jeff. The Suns just absolutely got routed in that game. But so there's no game 7 there. But if the Knicks do win this game tonight, game 7, all these games will be on Mother's Day, game 7. That'd be fun, right? Watch with the family on Mother's Day and sweat out some bets. But yeah, I think they get it done. One prop I do like there, Bam Adebayo's over tonight, Jeff. I think I think we were on a Bam under trend, weren't we, for a little bit? I think we were hitting Bam's unders, and now all of a sudden you look up. I actually think his over tonight could be in a good spot. When they have Mitchell Robinson out there defensively, when you get him extended like past the foul line, he's a really I don't want to say he's a bad defender, but he just looks kind of clumsy, right? Trying to guard Adebayo. Adebayo has gone over this number in his last 2 games. And he's another guy that for his center, Jeff, plays nearly 40 minutes a game in the playoffs. So his volume's going to be there. They're going to need other guys to step up to help out Jimmy in this spot. I think Bam's in a pretty good position tonight to do that. So I like Bam Adebayo there over in this game. I think he gets it, cashes that bet in as well. That is currently 17.5 on DraftKings. This feels a bit low, doesn't it, for Adebayo tonight? All right, let's shift gears to a game that I think a lot of people fired up for. I think this could be the game of the playoffs so far, Jeff. I think this series has been the series of the playoffs on paper. Steph Curry versus LeBron James. You get Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, the stars all over the court. Anthony Davis was injured in Game 5, got wheelchaired off the floor, according to reports, but he should be good to go tonight. What do you think? Do you think the Lakers close this out? Because I agree. We just went back and forth on this. It's a Philly-Boston situation, right? If the Lakers don't win this game, Golden State's going to be a 7-point favorite at home to close out the series. So what do you think? Do you think they get it done tonight, or do you think the Warriors extend this?
My money is on the Warriors to extend it. I've taken them +3 tonight. I was tempted to take the +130. Obviously, if you think they're going to win the game, maybe you feel like you got to bet them to win Game 7, but that's all baked into the price and how big of a favorite they would be on top of tonight's money line take back of +130. I think you said it. Stars are aligning for a gem this evening. Yeah, you're taking 3 points. You always worry things get sloppy in an NBA game, but I think we're going right to the wire here, like one of those final last possession ball games. So I'm taking the 3 points that these guys live another day, and subsequently by picking that and believing the Warriors win tonight, I believe they're actually going to win the series and draw Denver.
If any team could do it, we said coming back from 3-1, it's the Warriors, right? Steve Kerr-led teams have done it before. Interesting note here, Jeff. Warriors, horrible on the road this year, right? Everybody is well aware of that. But if they win this game tonight, they extend a NBA record of the most consecutive playoff series with a road win. So even though they haven't done it all that well this year during the regular season, it's a whole different animal once you get to the playoffs. This is a team. There is no team in the history of the NBA who has been better in the playoffs away from home. This is a franchise that has done it year after year after year, a dynasty with all the guys that have on their current roster. So yeah, I think that this is a really good spot for the Warriors tonight. I am also going to be on the Warriors plus the 3 points in this game. I like the money line as well there, plus 126. I think they win the game outright. Like you said, the chances of – now, I don't want to say the chances of them covering but not winning are slim, because we did see the last time out they actually pushed this number when they were in Los Angeles at plus 3. Although it looked like they were going to be in complete control to win the game outright. You could go spread, right? I think the spread obviously is a bit safer. But the money line here, Jeff, I think it's worth a look at plus 126.
Yeah, it always is. I'm paying for the outs here.
Yeah.
I'm paying for my outs of they win outright, they lose by the basket, I get a push. I'm paying for a couple trap doors to kind of save me.
Yes.
Maybe. I do believe that they do win the game, and maybe I break up this bet with like 70% spread, 30% outright win is probably maybe something I should look into. But I'm on the Warriors plus the 3. I don't think it's pretty early here. We're before lunch essentially on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see this line finishing today, I guess? Or right around 3? Feels like a pretty well thought out numbers by the books. And as you said, if this is like the game of the year, then it's going to be not like any NBA game isn't capped sharply, but it's going to have the amount of action being taken on this game. They're probably pretty comfortable in this 3.
I'd assume it's going to be the most bet game of the season is where I'd be confident saying that, Jeff. It's a Friday night, right? It's the Lakers Warriors. It's the playoffs. So there's a lot of narratives around it that make this game really appealing. Not only from a viewing standpoint, but obviously from a gambling standpoint. I will say the line was 2.5 this morning. Now, this line that we have on our screen is FanDuel. On DraftKings, it's still 2.5. So I think it's going to depend where you're looking at. What I see, Jeff, from my numbers here is the public is slightly leaning towards Los Angeles with 57% of the bets on LA. Actually, the most public bet here, if you wanted to get sharp, would be to take the under. We see 74% right now on the over, which is at 220. Obviously, that number doesn't look high, but in playoff basketball, you never know. So, yeah, I think this one's interesting. I do. I think that it's going to come down to the wire. I agree with that statement. Get a couple points here, but the value on a game like this with Steph Curry, and who knows? I think Anthony Davis will be good to go, right? I mean, it's not like a leg or knee injury. What was it, his eye or his head or something like that, where it's kind of an injury that if he's good to go, he's probably going to be good to go. I don't think the injury is going to necessarily limit him. And how about Klay Thompson, Jeff? Game 6 Klay, did we get him tonight? He's been really, really struggling in this series, especially the last couple games. His prop at 21.5. History would tell you to take that over there with Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I trust. I don't know what's baked into that, because that does feel like a very narrative street like bet today that's gained traction through the morning.
Yeah.
But I do trust them. You're asking me to lean that prop over Klay Thompson. I trust him as much as anybody to shoot his shot and for it to go ball and bucket. Yeah.
I mean, look, the thing with Klay that has been interesting in this series is he has gone over this number, twice? Okay, so he's 2 for 3 against the number. The last 3 games, though, Jeff, he's combined for just 34 points, right? He scored 30, let alone in game 2. So he's really struggled. First 2 games, he combines for 55. The last 3, his numbers have gone way down. And the volume's been there. 3 for 12 last game, 3 for 11 the game prior, and 5 for 14 before that. He has just hit, let's see how many threes he said. He's hit 8 threes over his last 3 games. That's not good when you've taken about 25. So this is a guy that I think is just too talented not to come up over this number. And like we said, there's that narrative around him. History tells you that in game 6, Klay Thompson has stepped up. He's played clutch. Do we get game 6 Klay tonight? We will find out.
Do you have a lean on LeBron props, which I assume would be pretty popular today, right? He's got to do what he's going to do. I'm sure his over would be one of the more popular bets of the day. I don't know. I'd probably fade him.
It's at an appealing number to a 26.5 because, like, how I think of
very tempting.
Isn't it? Right? I mean, you look at that number and you're like, okay, should be able to get there. But based on this series, Jeff, he's gone over this number just once. And the one time he did go over it, he landed on 27. So he's actually been pretty poor against this number, but the volume has been there. 17 shots last game, 25 in the game prior, 24 in game one, 18 in game two. And you have to remember that they were blown out there in game two as well. He was well on his way. I think he had 21 points at half in game two, because I know this because I had his over at 25 and a half. I needed 5 second half points from LeBron James, and he didn't get it because they pulled him out in the second half. It's an interesting number for sure. The one thing I'd feel confident in saying that this game will be close tonight, right? I don't think it's going to be a game where you have to worry about LeBron going under because they're going to pull him late in the game. Like, this is a do-or-die game for the Warriors, and it might be a do-or-die game for the Lakers, right? At the same time, they do not want to go back to Golden State here with a Game 7. Does LeBron James step up? Can he creep over this number? I think there's a good chance he can. But, yeah, it almost might be sharp here to take the over, Jeff, because he's gone under the number in 4 of the 5 games.
Who do you think the Nuggets are cheering for? They just want it to go 7?
The Nuggets wanted to go 7. I think at the end of the day, they're cheering for the Lakers. I got to say that. Because I think there's something about, obviously LeBron James himself has been extremely successful, but just that whole dynasty in Golden State, it's like when you have to play them in a 7-game series, they've done it so many times, and they've done it so well so many times. I don't know if you want to run into that team. But at the same time, you could look at the Lakers right now and say, look, Anthony Davis, I know he just kind of got hurt, but prior to that, it might be the healthiest he's ever looked in his career. So definitely I don't know. Who do you want to face if you're them?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of how, I'm curious when they'll plan on starting that series. And if this one goes 7, even to have 3 or 4 days rest when these teams just had to play over 2 weeks every other day. And I think Golden State was out of an every other day situation to end their series. Ended a little bit later than the Laker series previous. So they've almost been playing every other day for a month, which is for guys for so much of the load management that they go through all season. I'm not it's clearly not a shock to their bodies. Maybe I'm making something out of nothing here, but the amount that they're forced to play now, both in games and minutes, some ways, someone's got to hit that wall soon, you think.
Right. And you would think that obviously Steph Curry is getting up there in himself, but LeBron James at his age, it is amazing what he's been able to do this postseason and continue to perform at the level that he has. Maybe the more I think about it, the Nuggets maybe they'd match up better against the Warriors, because inside, I think Anthony Davis could kill them inside Denver, right? As great as Jokic is, we know Denver doesn't really have a true rim protector. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see who ends up winning this series tonight. Do not miss that game. Whatever you do, make time to check out the Lakers and the Warriors. That's 10 p.m. on the East Coast. All right, let's shift gears to a little MLB talk. We had a lot of NBA to get into. We're going to go over a couple MLB games, guys. Then we're going to get to some NHL. I am going to give my day 2 $100 challenge bet as well as a Nerfy here at the end. But first, Jeff, we have a baseball bet that you are looking at, and we have a matchup between the Cincinnati Reds and the Miami Marlins from the Sunshine State. What do you got?
I'm going to play the fun new prospect making his major league debut here for the Marlins. Not laying the Marlins on the money line, although I'd argue that's my lean with. But Yuri Perez over 5Ks. That's a pick 'em. It could be real popular today, so if you like it, maybe play it now because he's a hot new thing. And the Reds, well, they swing and miss a lot. And anytime they played a player that a pitcher they hadn't seen before, they gave up 7+. That was Senga, Bryce Elder, Taj Bradley, all of whom got over 7+ Ks when this unfamiliar pitcher faces the swing and miss Reds lineup. I think Perez has the stuff. I've seen people I trust even playing this, much like I played Brunson the other day on alt Ks, playing this thing 6, 7, 8 Ks for Perez. They really think can make an opening statement here. So Yuri Perez, major league debut tonight. Marlins, well, I think they win, but that's not my bet. It's Perez for my K prop over 5.
Yeah, I like the Marlins too, just from a game standpoint, Jeff. If anyone's not familiar with Yuri Perez, number 3 prospect in baseball, obviously that means he's Miami's number 1 prospect. So this is a kid just 20 years of age. The sky's the limit for him. Doesn't this make you feel old, Jeff? He was born in 2003, so he's gonna be going out there today, get a start for Miami. What I've seen from him, and obviously it's limited. You see his minor league clips and stuff like that. Just electric stuff. This is one of the top prospects in baseball. Again, if you can make time to check this kid out tonight, because this is one of the, I would say, more anticipated starts of the season as far as a prospect's concerned. It's always fun when a pitcher makes a debut.
And he's pretty lengthened out. So he would have like normal starting pitcher pitch limit tonight. Like we're over 90 at least, assuming it doesn't go horribly for him in the early going where there's not an inning where he has to work so hard to get out of that they just pull the plug. Like he's going to flirt, maybe even clear 100 pitches, 95 pitches tonight. And that's going to be 5+ innings. We're going to get all the Ks.
I love it. All right, guys, I'm looking at my favorite MLB bet of the day is actually going to be an under here. So we got Spencer Strider taking on Chris Bassitt tonight. Listen, Toronto and Atlanta, two of the best offenses in baseball. That's why we're getting this number at 9. It's a little inflated here in my mind, however, because we have Spencer Strider and Chris Bassitt. Strider's a guy that, in my opinion, is a top 3 arm in baseball. I don't like to say that as a Philadelphia Phillies fan. The Atlanta Braves continue to produce young studs, a heck of a pitching staff. But in my eyes, he's the best pitcher in the rotation for Atlanta. 2 bullpens that we've seen. Toronto's bullpen can struggle at times, but Atlanta's a bullpen that I still do trust ultimately. Chris Bassitt on the flip side, 4.28 ERA, but I actually think he's pitched better than those numbers represent. Bassett's a guy who came over, obviously, from New York last year, started in Oakland. But if you look at Bassett's numbers, Geoff, they're a bit skewed because he had one start where he went 3 1/3. He allowed 9 runs. All of those were earned against St. Louis. So on April 2nd, his ERA was 24.30. That will not play. But you look up about a month later, and his ERA is down to 4.28. So it's gone down every single start. He's coming off of a really encouraging start, went 7 innings, just 4 hits allowed, no runs against the Pirates. Prior to that, he's looked really good against some good lineups this year. 6 1/3, no runs against Houston. So I'm looking at some really good offenses that he's faced. 6 innings, 3 runs against the Los Angeles Angels offense that can swing the bats. He's a guy that we've seen experienced at this point in the league, 34 years of age. He's been around the block. I think he can hold down this very, dangerous Atlanta lineup. And then on the flip side, Spencer Strider, I think his stats speak for themselves. He is a 2.70 ERA, but this is another guy that's numbers probably don't represent how good he's been because he had that one start against New York last week, I believe. Yeah, May 1st, where he allowed 4 runs in 5 innings. Coming into that start there, Geoff, he had an ERA of just 1.80. So his ERA has jumped about a full run in his last 2 starts. This is a guy, again, that's too good not to get back on track tonight. I can see both these pitchers going deep into this ball game, kind of making this a bit sweat-free. So Braves and Jays, that under tonight at 9. Lock that in. That is my favorite MLB bet of the day. Geoff, do you have any other MLB bets that you want to knock in, or is that it for on your end?
No, just the K prop for me is, I guess my eyeball's going to be on the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah. It's a weird baseball slate today. A lot of games, but I'm with you. I didn't love a lot of games on the MLB slate today. All right, let's talk some puck before we go to the challenge pick. We got your Leafs. Here they are right on the screen. -176 favorites to win. I got to go check this. What are they now to win the series? Because we were just talking about what they would be. But while I look up their series live line, Geoff, talk me through this game. Do we like the Panthers tonight, or do we think the Leafs extend this and send it back to Florida?
There's a lot to take from what could potentially happen tonight. Like, the Panthers have been dominant on the road, right? Yeah. They took 3 of 4 in Boston. Now they took the first 2 in Toronto. And if the Leafs can somehow win this one tonight, then you just punch a little hole in that like road warrior narrative or winning streak that they've got, and it will obviously make things feel a lot more possible. I don't know, man. That place should be a bit of a hornet's nest tonight in Toronto for the suit and ties at least that fill that building. I have no bet. I really want the Leafs to win though, but there's no bet here for me.
Oh, man, it's tough. It is tough to say, but I will say that I'm trusting the Leafs again. You know what? I did. You talked me into betting them game 4 because I was 0-3 on them. Now I'm 1-3. It's better. So here we go. We're taking them, but I'm not going the money line. We're going to do a -1, so we get it down to like -110 tonight. I think their back's against the wall, Geoff, once again. Do you think they get swept at home? I mean, that'd be bad. Like, you can't lose 3 of the 4 on your home ice. You got to expect that some life was just re-injected into this team, right? You had your back against the wall. You're in Florida game 4. It's easy to roll over and die. They did not. They played tough. And look, let's be honest, as much as it's fun to rip on the Leafs, games 1, 2, and 3 could have gone to Toronto, right? Like those were all coin flip games. Florida wins 1 in overtime. They kind of stole game 2. We talked about how much Toronto outplayed them. Really, outside of game 1, I think that it's been a pretty much a 50-50 series. I will say that. Jeff, we have some comments that we want to get to over on our YouTube. I apologize. I don't know why our Twitter is not letting you guys comment who are watching in the Twitter stream, but I do apologize for that. Someone did just say, don't fade Braun. His 28-1 ECF/WCF and NBA Finals, just like her, has never lost a series. Okay, there it is. Read this. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not fun fading LeBron, but I would also respond to that saying it's probably not fun, right, if you look at trends fading the Warriors. That's what makes this game so interesting. I mean, there's championship DNA all over this game. Great players, great coaches. So fun game. Someone also asked if we liked any Phillies players props. I do not have any props for that game, Xavier, but I will be cheering my Phillies on tonight. I would say maybe an Austin Gomber under on outs or Walker. I see a lot of runs in that game, so I don't see either starter getting deep into that game. So if you really want to play something, Walker or Austin Gomber take their under on outs tonight. But Jeff, let's just hope the Leafs do it. I found their price, by the way, to win the series is down to plus 315. What was it on? It was like plus 700. Right?
It was like 8. It was 8 or 9. And okay, this is even. And there's a chance. There's a chance. That's what we'll say. The other NHL game tonight, we have the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Edmonton Oilers. The winner of this series will take on the Dallas Stars or the Seattle Kraken, who play Game 6 tomorrow. This series has been a good one, but Edmonton's been favored in every single game this series. Do you think Vegas being a little disrespected here by the books in this series, or do you think Edmonton takes this one tonight? I do. You could argue the case for Vegas being disrespected, but you just know when you watch the Oilers, win or lose, like McDavid and Draisaitl, they always show up.
Yeah.
And like that's just such a thing for hockey fans or sports fans. Like it's an easy thing to go to the window and I guess click and lay that juice with because you're just so confident the best player on the planet is going to show up. Which should, I guess, lead to a win, but as Oilers fans know, it doesn't. Many a time. Interesting series in the sense that they've just sort of exchanged like haymakers, right? Like every game has been really lopsided. The Oilers have come back to answer the bell after crushing defeat or lopsided defeats to put them down in the series, and then Vegas finds a way to do it again the next night. I like Edmonton. I think the 30 cents on the money line is a fair price, and I like the plus 170 on the puck line at minus 1.5. So I'll be probably in on both, but puck line minus 1.5 plus 170, and the money line minus 130.
Yeah, this is one, Jeff, we will be opposite on. I think at some point, and I've rode the Oilers in 3 of these 4 games of series. I did not bet one of them. I think game 1 I laid off. But listen, Edmonton has been they're a team that they're not fun to fade, kind of like you just said, because you just know how good they are with McDavid, with Draisaitl. They just have so much talent on this team. Darnell Nurse, by the way, he was suspended for this game. Probably their second best defenseman, to something to note coming into this one tonight. But Vegas is a team that I feel they're being a bit disrespected here, the fact that they've been a dog in every game. And if you're Vegas here, Jeff, if you lose this game and you go 3-2 going back to Edmonton, I think you know that you're all of a sudden in a tough spot. So I don't want to say it's a must-win because it's a 2-2 series. Both teams obviously will be equally invested into this game tonight. But Vegas at home, I like them at the plus money. I think it's a dog night there. I think it's one dog, one favorite. We get the Leafs as the favorite, and we get the Golden Knights as a dog, but we'll see.
The home teams
tonight. They do, right? Maybe, I don't know. How'd they do last night? No, they both won last night, I think. So
Leafs are 1-5 at home, man. I got buddies who've gone to like 4 playoff games so far this run. I haven't seen them win. They're like, it's just so brutal.
I would be calling for a refund at that point. That's rough. I mean, that was how, you know what? I was thinking of going to the Sixers game last night. And after the loss, I felt much better that at least I was at home, right? You don't have to suffer losing there, and then you feel like you just wasted all your money. You got to sit in traffic for 2 hours. There's something
buying a ticket, you just double your bets responsibly.
You could do that, right? Responsibly, of course. All right, guys, before we head out, I do want to give you guys two things. One is the Nerfy of the day, up to 6-3 on the year. We split this week, but I'm going with the guy you were talking about, Jeff. We're going to back the Marlins and Reds here. No run in the first inning. I think DeadPres comes out. Listen, this is a guy that I think is electric against the Cincinnati lineup. I think he's going to be able to limit them. So no run first inning will be there. And then Graham Ashcraft on the other side, he's coming off a start where he went 1 2/3 inning and allowed 8 runs. Prior to that start, though, his ERA was just at a 2 flat, and he had I think he had the longest streak in baseball of not allowing a run in the first inning. This is a guy that is much better than those numbers indicate because, again, it's like having a round of golf, Jeff, where you play great, but you get a 10 on one hole and it blows you up a little bit. That's Ashcraft when it comes to a pitching standpoint. Prior to that start where he gave up 8 runs, he only gave up 8 runs on the entire season. So he had 1 bump in the road. He's due to bounce back. I think that's a strong play tonight. And then let me give you guys the day 2 ladder challenge pick again. So we're doing this at $100. So we're already up to north of 200. That's the nice thing about bumping up the stakes a little bit. I kept getting to day 6. Once I got to day 10, we don't need to win as many days now, Jeff, because we start with more money. So that is the nice thing about this. I'll let people shuffle in. We will try to we'll get the graph out there too for this because I know there's nothing worse than when people miss it and then we got to get it to you guys. But for the people that are in here now live, we're going to go with the Golden State Warriors money line. That's going to be the one to get us on to day 3. A little scary here. But, Jeff, we both like it. I have confidence in this play. I think the Warriors continue that streak of the most series ever with a road win. I think the Warriors still win this series overall. Game 6 Clay is all I'm going to say. I think Klay Thompson comes out. I think he scores 30-plus tonight. I think Steph Curry comes out, continues his dominance in this game. And this line, I think it's going to creep back. There is one thing to note. Andrew Wiggins is technically listed as questionable. If he's rolled in, I think this line shrinks a little bit. All the pressure in this game is on Los Angeles. All of a sudden, they're at home. They have to defend that home court. They know they lose this game tonight. It goes back to Golden State. And Golden State, the one thing we know about the Warriors is they will not fold under pressure. This is a team that knows, they know how to win. They know how to win these kind of games. They know how to win these kind of games away. So give me the Warriors tonight. I think they extend the series, and I think that they win and get us on to day 3. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for today's show. For this week's shows, we had some great shows this week. We appreciate everybody who showed us support throughout the week. We will be back on Twitter Spaces on Monday, and then we will be back to the video plays for Wednesday and Thursday. Jeff, any closing words before we head out for the weekend?
No, but I think we're going to get those magical Game 7s Sunday. I think a couple of them. Definitely Golden State to supplement that great Philly-Boston game. So, yeah, I don't know. Mother's Days, they're going to have a TV screen if you're guys going to go out for dinner. Or at least no, Mom, let's do it at your place. You know where the TV is. You can take control of the situation when you're at your mom's house. Instead of playing a road game, go to your – yeah, you know what I mean? Play a home game.
Yeah, think of creative ways to watch the game on Mother. That's a great point. Make it out where you're trying to compensate something, but make sure wherever you go on Mother's Day, make sure there's a TV. That's all. That's my only suggestion to you guys. Thank you, Xavier. I hope you have a great weekend as well. All right, guys, we'll be back Monday. Everybody take care. Have an awesome Friday.